Welcome to Sold by MC, where Philly real estate always tells a story. Welcome back to Sold by MC, everybody. I apologize that it has been a couple of weeks. I had a nasty cold for a couple of weeks and lost my voice. So you can't really do a podcast without a voice. But today is especially exciting. I'm bringing on a very dear friend of mine, and our guy in the background is going to join the podcast a bit today, Asher Khan.
Hello.
He is great. He has been editing the podcast, helping lead with all of our guests that have been coming on, and I am just so appreciative of him for helping launch Sold by MC. A little bit of bragging on Asher. He is actually the broker of record and a partner at Elfant Wissahickon. He's a licensed broker in both Pennsylvania and New Jersey. And he has been a full-time agent for over 19 years and has managed real estate offices throughout NJ and PA, as well as owning his own brokerage. So not to brag too much.
And I'm the man behind the curtain here.
He is the man behind the curtain. But Asher, you have sold over $200 million in real estate. So no big deal over here. Right, just today. Yeah. Made a couple calls. But today's guest coming on with Asher and myself is someone who truly embodies what it means to build a successful, values-driven real estate career here in Philadelphia. I'm so excited to welcome Rachel Reilly. She's actually one of Elfant Wissahickon's top performing agents of 2025 with over $17 million in sales and nearly 2 decades of experience helping clients build long-term wealth through real estate. She's a Philly native at heart. She attended Abington High School, graduated from Villanova with a degree in media and film communication, and began her career in advertising in New York. But an interest in real estate investing brought her back to Philly, where she bought her first duplex, helped friends purchase homes, and quickly realized she had found her calling. So she's a licensed realtor since 2005. Rachel has earned countless industry accolades, including multiple 5-star real estate agent awards, being named Elfant Wissahickon's top individual producer, and recognition as a Philadelphia Magazine top real estate producer. She's also appeared on House Hunters and Tiny House Hunting, though she'll be the first to tell you she prefers real life to reality TV.
That is true. That is true.
Beyond sales, Rachel is deeply connected to the city and its neighborhoods, with years of involvement in civic groups, park organizations, and even leading volunteers to plant over 150 trees in South Philly. Her approach to real estate is rooted in integrity, community, and always putting her clients first. So, Rachel, welcome to Sold by MC. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you, Mary Claire. Thank you, Asher.
A walk-in song here.
I love it. Because I'm a heavy hitter, right?
She's a heavy hitter.
That's my baseball walkout song.
She's ready now. We're pumped up. Rachel kindly requested a walk-up song.
Well, I just assumed that everybody on the show would get one. It makes sense. So this was like a very last-minute choice, but I'm comfortable with it.
We're adding a new trend to the Sold by MC podcast. Thank you for that, Rachel.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here, and thank you for that very long introduction. It made me feel very old. So
I just sit here and brag on you all day. I really could. But we're really excited to hop into this. I've got some great questions lined up because I want you to share with us all of your experience and wisdom and expertise.
I'm an open book.
You're an open book. So you started in advertising and media before real estate. What pulled you back to Philly and into this industry? And when did you realize this wasn't just a side interest, but a career?
Well, after living in Philly for a year after graduating from college, I was working as a server at a very well-known restaurant. Mm-hmm. It was really fun, but I started feeling guilt that I should be using my college degree. So I kind of went to New York as a default because that's what everyone else I graduated with was doing. And I got a job. And while I was in New York living with 3 roommates that I hadn't even met before I moved in because that's what I could afford. And
the only way to afford New
That's
York.
right. And working a job that was not fulfilling at all. And I didn't really like where I would be going if I stayed and climbed that ladder. I wasn't able to save any money. I was barely able to afford groceries. I certainly couldn't afford to do anything fun in New York. While back in Philadelphia, my friends that I had been working with at the restaurant were saving up enough money to start buying houses. And I just felt something was off. I said, how can I be using my degree and working in this big company, but I didn't know where I was going, and I couldn't imagine a life that was sustainable. Yet, back in my old job, just waiting tables, like I could be doing better in a city like Philadelphia that was so much more affordable and had so many more opportunities. So I decided to pack up, go home with my tail between my legs, ask for my old restaurant job back, and go to real estate school and get my license and just try to learn what the process was. I was really young. I was 24. I had never been through a home buying process because my parents, we always lived in the same house growing up. So I didn't really know what that meant, but I thought if I could afford to buy a cheap duplex in South Philly, live in one, rent out the other unit, that I could start getting some passive income and figure out what I was going to do with the rest of my life. So it was more of a stopgap measure, not something I thought I would do for the rest of my life.
Absolutely. Hey, you got to go through New York at some point, right? And I'm sure a lot of listeners they feel that way right now at points where they're like, it's not fulfilling in my career. What do I want to do? And yeah, I'm living in New York and I can barely afford to buy bananas.
You need 5 roommates now instead of 3, by the way.
And they have those, you have to like install the walls in all of the apartments. I've been to my friend's place in New York several times, and it's just, you can literally hear everything that's going on the other side. But that's what people pay for in New York.
Yeah, a great way to be able to do all the things in New York is to live in Philadelphia and then take the train up and spend your money in New York for a weekend and then come home.
I can afford it to have a twin-size bed and a closet.
That's basically the description of my room that I lived in there, yeah.
So you bought your first duplex early on.
I
in
did.
Philly.
Yes.
How important was investing and shaping the way you advise clients today?
So I held on to that duplex for a very long time. I think I sold it 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
And I have accumulated a few other investment properties along the way. And it certainly has been a great learning experience. Being a landlord is not my favorite job, not my favorite part of real estate, but I understand that there is a lot of like I said, passive income you can make. You can build a lot of equity kind of in your sleep when you own properties, but there's still a lot of work that goes into it. So when I have clients that are looking to do the same thing, actually I have these long-term clients that just bought their first investment property. And, I can advise them about putting away an emergency fund for that property, how much they should budget for replacement for, the heater, the roof, anything like that. There's always going to be regular costs throughout the year because you're going to have tenant turnover, you're going to have to paint, you're going to have to change the locks. There's a lot of things that could go wrong, but if you plan for that ahead of time, it can really be successful. I usually advise people that are looking to become landlords to plan on holding that property for at least 10 years. Sure, you can make money in less time, but I think 10 years is really safe in any market. And we could be in a great, robust market right now, but we might not be in 3 years. So you have to plan for the worst and make sure that you can, handle all the payments on that property for 10 years.
Definitely.
Another thing I want to say is I help people decide if they are a good fit to manage their own properties. A lot of people think, it'll be fun to be a landlord and I can put some tenants in there that I really like their personalities or whatever. I really like their style. I think if you're not in the business already, I think you can make some really naive decisions. That's what I did my first year because I still didn't know what I was doing back then. You learn the hard way. But I think if you don't feel super confident that it's always a good idea to use a management company, either in the beginning to get yourself started till you kind of understand the process and you have some good tenants in there, or like me, I've never used a management company because of my real estate experience. I felt like, I shouldn't pay for that. I should do this myself. I have the qualifications. I have the knowledge. However, I just paid off the first house that my husband and I bought together that is in South Philly, and we've been renting it out for the last 10, 11 years.
Woo!
And yeah, I'm really excited about that. So I paid it off this past summer, and the prize I'm giving to myself is that I'm now going to hire a management company, so I don't have to handle turning the place over, and I don't have to handle small repair requests and finding tenants and all of that. So that's my gift.
So exciting. Asher, can we get like a clap for her or something?
I don't know which one it is.
Can I clap for myself?
Let's see.
You might get it wrong.
Oh, no, I don't know. Hold on. Maybe. Let's see. No, that's not the one.
The wrong one.
Definitely not that one either.
And I just want to say,
We're working with the buttons, everybody.
it was a 30-year mortgage, but it didn't take me 30 years to pay it off. So happy
There
to help.
we go. Yes, Rachel Reilly.
That's crazy.
That is really exciting, though. And you've got it paid off. Now you can have the property management kind of take over, and especially giving your clients that are thinking about investing that real advice of like, this is what it's looked like for me. I want to make sure, you feel comfortable, and it doesn't just look like sunshine and rainbows. There's a lot that goes into being a landlord. Mm-hmm. So that's very wise of you. You're a very wise person anyway, though. So
wise old owl.
You are not old. But you've been licensed since 2005.
Yes.
And just had a huge year in 2025. Oh my goodness. What do you think has been the biggest factor in your long-term success?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I'm really good at staying in touch with my clients. And that part of it doesn't feel like work to me. I've been really fortunate in my career. I think it's a little bit luck and it's a little bit circumstance that I really, truly like and care about the people that I work with. And I stay in touch. I whether it's text once in a while, when I'm passing their house and I just want to say hi, or we might just naturally be in each other's lives because they're parents of my kids' friends or my own circle of friends. I really enjoy hearing about their lives, checking in with them, making sure that there's nothing that I can help with. And so that has brought my clients back time and time again and brought me a ton of referrals.
Yeah. And I think something about you too is you are so personable and warm and like a social butterfly. So all of this comes so naturally for you too. And yeah,
Thank you. That's so kind.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that's made you so successful too, is your personality. And that really makes you shine, especially in real estate. This is the perfect place for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. But for our buyers listening who feel overwhelmed by today's market, we're switching over to the market side of pieces. What mindset shift helps them make smarter decisions?
So, I mean, buyers can be of any age right now, but when you say that, I think about first-time home buyers.
Yes.
Because people that have been through this process before usually have a little bit more patience. I want to say that the first-time home buyers that I have experienced in the last few years, with a few exceptions, aren't willing to compromise on enough. The first house you buy is not going to be your dream house. And you have to accept that. And you have to figure out what your deal breakers are. And then outside of those things, be willing to search outside of your initial comfort zone. Because if you're looking for an affordable house to be your first house, and I really think you should stay well within your budget when you're a first-time home buyer, you are going to be able to buy your dream house so much quicker down the line, whether it's your second house or your third house. If you make a really smart decision, don't buy a house that's, it's really top of your budget and it's still not meeting all of your criteria, but it's just the absolute most expensive house you can buy in, as close to your, favorite neighborhood as possible. Buy something that, maybe feels less exciting. However, on paper, it's something that you can hold on to for a long time. You can live in it for 3 to 5 years, have, a low enough mortgage so that you can continue to put savings away every month. And then in 3 to 5 years, maybe you trade up, maybe you sell it so that, you can buy the next house, or maybe you can hold on to it, keep it as an investment property. And then you have another income stream added to your savings you've been putting away. And the second house is going to be awesome. It's going to be a much easier process, and you're going to get a lot more of what you want.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question to that? You say that probably, new buyers have to compromise a bit on their dream home. Would you say that's a reflection of the current market too and limited offerings?
I think it is coming from my own experience and the first couple houses that my husband and I bought. The house he owned when we first met, it was not in a nice neighborhood. It was walkable to a nice neighborhood, but it was not on a great block. And, the house needed a lot of work. It had like old, like burgundy shag carpet, and it had a kitchen from maybe the 1930s. And, it was pretty hideous, but we were in our 20s and we didn't care. We were excited to have an affordable place to live. And then guess what? We got a roommate. And I think that all of our contributions were like $250 a month. It was like the same as the gas bill in like the coldest month, And because of that, every dollar we made at work was basically going into our pockets. And so, the next house was a little bit of a step up. And then the house after that was the house we live in now, which is, will be a 20-year plus house for us. And to be honest, I never thought that I could buy a home as beautiful as the one I live in. And it's still a pretty modest home for the neighborhood I live in. But in my dreams, it wasn't possible when I first got my real estate license, or even when I turned 30. So,
I mean, it's great to hear you can do it in any market.
You can do it in any market, right? You just, again, you have to be willing to think outside the box a little bit. You have to be willing to take advice from your realtor, because they're the ones that know where you can get a better deal if you're not finding what you're looking for in your chosen market, and take the advice.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're looking for a great investment, reach out to your realtor. We can help you find these. I remember years ago when we bought, it was our first home that we bought. And yeah, it doesn't check all of our boxes for us to live in it for more than 10 years, because eventually, it's not going to be big. It's under 1,000 square feet. So like we cannot fit kids in there and a family, but eventually this is going to be a really great property for us to rent out, to utilize as an investment property. And then next step, we find a bigger house, and that may not be the forever one, but that second one is another investment. So like we talked about earlier, if you're willing to take on the landlord and you're being a realist about it, it could be a really great investment, especially if you're, buying a property that's not going to check all of your boxes, but it's in a really great block, a great area close to, the certain park that you like, or the restaurant that, eventually somebody else is also going to see that. I remember when I brought Kathy on, we had talked about don't renovate your house to fit your style. Think about what another buyer would have. And
right.
That stays true to, the purchase that you make. Is this something somebody else is going to eventually like, especially if it's not, your forever home?
Yeah. Another thing I want to say is the home that my husband and I first lived in together, which was the first house he bought on, in that not nice block and not the nicest neighborhood. One thing I did was I got involved with the local civic association, and that's where I started planting trees, because I felt like I was living in an ugly concrete jungle and all I was seeing was trash on the street. And I wanted more trees. I wanted more green when I looked out the window, and, not just on, in front of my house, but also on my way to and from my house in the morning and in the evening. I wanted to feel good about my neighborhood. So another way to fix things is to really get involved. I promise you, if there's a great opportunity, property on a block that doesn't look great, there's neighbors out there that would work with you to help beautify it, make it nicer.
You increase the value of your home so much more by doing that, I'm sure. Planting 150 trees. What's one mistake you see buyers make when they're trying to time the market?
Oh, you can't time the market. Mm-hmm. You just can't. Everybody has real estate regrets, right? And those regrets are, I wish I bought this last year, or I wish I bought it 10 years ago. So I think you have to always be looking and open to an opportunity. If you pick a time of year that's exactly the right time for you, there may be 50 other buyers looking for the same thing you are at that time of year. So I think you just have to keep your eyes open and be willing to consider an opportunity at any time, regardless of what the interest rates are, regardless of what time of year it is.
Exactly. And I think so many, especially first-time home buyers, they're so worried about that, like 0.1, 0.2% of their interest rate, when really, time the market on the specific house. If you find a home that you love and the price is right, jump on it. Because a good investment property is going to go fast on the market.
That's right. And nobody has a crystal ball.
Exactly. And that's what happened with us on our home. Like, we got it for a really great price, especially for the area we bought it in. But interest rates were high. I mean, they were like high sixes. But like, we're just going to refinance it. It's really not. But coming from the market years ago when it was like that ridiculous 3 or 4% that we're probably never going to see again.
I mean, if we had another pandemic,
I know
they might drop rates to keep the market going.
Please no.
Please no. But yes, you can always refinance, and you can also always do smart things. You can always pay down your principal, and your interest is based on your principal. So if you want to pay lower interest, then pay down your principal.
Exactly.
Yeah, you'll pay off your mortgage faster.
Great advice. Let's switch over to the seller side just for a minute. What actually matters most right now when they're preparing a home to list, and what do people tend to overthink?
I just met with sellers 2 days ago, and this is a really funny story. Their house is in an amazing neighborhood. It's a neighborhood people fight to get into. And when I walked up to the door, all of the paint around the trim of the door was crumbling, and just overgrown trees. It just felt like it had not been taken care of. And when I walked in, every room said the same story. You could tell it was lived in by a loving family that just never had the motivation to do the big projects, and paint peeling in the rooms, and the kitchen was, oh my goodness, it was so old, and this little like galley kitchen. And I know that they had raised a couple kids in this house, and I'm like, gosh, wow, that must have been a really interesting kitchen to like cook big dinners in. And it was not as well kept as I was hoping, because this is a listing appointment, right? So as we sat down and we were discussing how to prepare the house, they said, well, if we put money into the house, won't we be able to get a better price for it? And I said, let's talk about what you mean. I said, do you mean that you want to do a full renovation to this house, or you're just thinking of maybe updating the bathrooms and the kitchens? And the wife said, well, the kitchen and by the way, they bought this house in 1994. She said, well, the kitchen was something we were planning to do before we even moved in, right after we bought it. We just never got around to it.
How long have they lived there?
Since 1994. Oh. So 30 years later. And
we never got around to it.
And the husband says, oh, right. Do you remember that my grandmother gave us that money to redo the kitchen? And I just started laughing because, I was like, in 1994, your grandmother thought this kitchen needed a redo, right? And her, grandmother mindset of 1994. And so I said, you could put money into the kitchen. You're not going to get it back. And touching on that thing we talked about a few minutes ago, I said, you could put in the most beautiful kitchen that you love, that your kids love, that I love, and a buyer could walk through the door and it's just not their style. And they're still going to have other work to do in the house. So unless you want to get a professional designer to come in, and we do everything, we do the plumbing, the electric, the roof, all the bathrooms, refinish the floors, paint the whole house, and do the kitchen, you're not going to get any return on your investment. So I think one mistake that sellers make is they think that in the 11th hour, dumping some money into cosmetics of the house is really going to make a big difference.
The irony is they would have had to redo the kitchen again anyway when you met with them. If they would have done it in 94, they'd probably still have to do it.
Yes, probably. Yeah, no, that's a good point. And that's the other thing I said. I said, you should do the kitchen when you have years to enjoy it afterwards. And then it doesn't matter what the buyer thinks, because you've had this kitchen of your dreams for the last 5 or 10 years. So instead, I think what's important is the house should be clean. It should be well furnished, decluttered, staged if you need to. And I think fresh paint goes a long way. And then other than that, you just need to price it correctly. That's the only, every house will sell if it's priced correctly. And yes, you can get a little bit more money if it's staged, cleaned,
People
freshly painted.
Living there.
They do. They want to be able to picture their own things there. And if the bathrooms and the kitchens are old, they will budget to do the work that they want to do. And if it's in a great location, then you really don't have anything to worry about.
Now, you're known for putting clients first above everything else. What does that look like in real life scenarios when tough decisions come up?
Oh, you just can't, you can't ever put yourself before the client. Mm-hmm. It's really hard to do this when you're a new agent because you haven't made any money yet, or you haven't made any real money yet, or you don't have a pipeline of clients, or you don't have 3 settlements scheduled, and you are facing a deal that looks like it's going to fall apart. And you just want to hold it together because you have to pay your rent or your mortgage, and you think the deal is going to fall apart. Well, you have to do what's right for your clients. And if you have the buyer and it's not the right house for them, or it's not the right situation for them, or the seller's asking them to take on circumstances, repairs, whatever it is that they're not equipped to handle or they can't afford to handle, you have to encourage them to do what's right for them. And if that's terminate the deal, then you have to be okay with that.
Exactly. And that's building that trust with your client, and you have that relationship. The last thing you want to do is for them to feel pressured by their agent, because that can immediately turn them into wanting to terminate a contract and go with someone else, because they now feel like, you aren't looking out for their best interests. And
you want to have those clients for life. And you want them to feel that at every turn, you gave them the advice that their mother would give them, their father would give them, their best friend would give them, and you weren't acting in your own interest.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's say you have a seller. Here's something else. You have a seller and you have 3 offers on their property, and one offer is $50,000 over asking price. One offer is $10,000 over, and one is for asking price. Well, first instinct would be like, go with the highest offer. And I'm sure that the sellers are going to want to take that one that's 50 over asking price. But what if you know it's not going to appraise for that amount? What if you know that the agent for the buyer is known to be a really tough negotiator after inspections, and they walked away on the last deal you tried to do together? And then that would really put your people in a hard position. But it would be great for you to sell it at $50,000 higher, because then you get a bigger commission check. So then you have to make a tough decision, and you have to convince your sellers why you're giving them that advice.
Yeah.
So.
And not even convince, just like sit there and be real and explain to them every single offer. Let's look at it one by one and decide what is best for you.
That's right.
And what, the good things in each offer are, but also, for the appraisal one with being 50,000 over asking, what could the consequences of accepting that offer be versus the one that's 10,000 more?
Right. So you always want to educate them.
Yes.
You want to give them the pros and cons, and ultimately they're the decision makers. They are in the driver's seat, and you have to remind them of that, but you want them to be able to make an informed decision every time.
Yep. And I like to say, agents are teachers. Yeah. I know that's my background, and I sound ridiculous saying that, but we really are. We educate our clients every day. We are that person that they call when they have questions, so we can walk them through it, because we're really the experts to guide them and support them in the process. And purchasing a house, it's a big deal. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, it's your 3rd or 4th house that you've purchased over the years. It's a really big deal.
It's the biggest financial decision you're probably going to make in your life.
Yeah. You've sustained success for nearly 2 decades now. I mean, just incredible. What separates agents who last from those who burn out? I think this is a really great question, especially from you, Rachel.
I mean, I have to admit, I burn out myself. Not totally, but I definitely go through burnout. Every couple of years. I feel it creeping up, and I'm better now at identifying it before it really takes over. I think you just have to practice a lot of self-care. One of our agents, a very close friend of mine, I will name her Sarah Robertson.
Shout out Sarah.
Shout out to Sarah. She is someone that knows me really well. She knows that I work really hard. She also knows how much I love what we do. And she knows a lot about my family, and it's not easy to do this job. when your spouse also works and you have a couple kids at home, you have any amount of kids at home, it's a lot. You spread yourself very thin. And, almost every time she and I sit down to have lunch or coffee or whatever, she always says, what are you doing to practice self-care? Because she knows I forget that at times. And I used to, but now I would say that since COVID, I've gotten in a really good habit. When I feel that I've had a couple stressful days or I just haven't taken any time for myself, I will put a couple things on the calendar that are just for me. And I think that, everybody should do that for themselves, regardless of how well they're doing, right? I think some people that may be struggling a little bit don't feel that they should carve out time for themselves, but it will regenerate everything in them that's going to make them good at their jobs.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite self-care thing?
I think just spending time with friends. I'm in 2 book clubs. I now play mahjong. I make time for friends. Every couple of weeks I get together with a group of girls, and massages.
Massages are the best. So you should go to Renew Head Spa. Have you gotten a scalp massage from them?
No.
So good. So it's off like Wash Ave, near like Italian Market area.
Mm-hmm.
And they like take the camera and they show you your scalp. I get it every winter because my scalp gets dry.
Okay.
Anyone's does. But they show you your scalp it's so gross, Asher.
Sounds great.
But then they like put all these products in and like scrub your scalp and show you after. And it's incredible to see.
Send me the link. I want to do it.
Asher, you could get one too.
Let's
next
all
time
go. We're going right after this podcast.
We are.
All right,
We're all
it.
going to go get one. I will send you it. I ask for it every Christmas from my family members. I'm like, I'd love a scalp massage just so I can have like that one thing. Massages they also do like a shoulder massage too.
That sounds nice. Next week I'm going to a Korean day spa in Elkins Park with a couple of my girlfriends.
Wait, send me that place.
Yeah,
too.
I will.
Okay. We have a lot of field trips coming up.
It's very naked. Just want to warn you ahead of time.
So we won't go to that together.
I mean, we can. I'm okay with it.
I'd be fine with it too.
All right.
Okay, I'm really excited for you to tell us a little bit about tiny house hunting and house hunters.
Listen, I don't want to ruin this for anybody. So if this is your favorite type of show of all time, mute the next 30 seconds. It was an experience. What I learned was that I don't like trying to be an actor in 97-degree heat for the over the course of 3 days where I have to wear the same clothes every day because we have to pretend it's the same day. And I had to repeat so many things that I said. I had to repeat like walking and going upstairs so many times. And it just wasn't real. This is what I don't want to ruin for people. It was fun at times, but it was a bummer to just be like, these aren't even houses that my client was really considering. And the house that she ends up choosing is like a house she already owns because you have to like have an accepted contract or have settled on it to, make the show work. Cause what if she picks a house and then she gets outbid on it. Right. Yeah. So I was like, man, reality television just isn't real. It made me think differently about the Jersey Shore and what was that? What are those other the Housewives shows?
Selling Sunset.
You had sympathy for Jersey Shore? Is that what you're saying? You had empathy for
all the
characters on that show?
I mean, the drama is like good, Snooki? But hey.
Yeah, no.
JWoww.
Oh my God. Where are they now?
Was it Pauly D?
I did like Pauly D. No, I like Vinny. He was like the least. I can't believe I'm talking about Jersey Shore.
We're going Jersey Shore. GTL.
GTL. That's absolutely right. Gym Tan Laundry.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Next.
Fun shows, but yeah.
Wait, what was tiny house hunting like?
Tiny house hunting was actually more fun. I had a really good crew, a great director, camera person, and what do they call it? Like an assistant, whatever, that did all the things. It was a small crew and I had great clients. They called me like 2 months after I had my second child. And I don't think that I had left the house very much. I definitely didn't have a haircut in a long time. I hadn't bought any new clothes. So they said, hey, we need a realtor. We saw that you did house hunting. We'd like someone experienced, and we have the couple, and we need to match them with a realtor for the show. Would you do it? And after my first experience not being my favorite, I was reluctant, but then I'm like, this is a reason to, get some new clothes and get out of bed in the morning and go do something fun.
A motivator.
Yeah.
Did you get the client too?
Well, here's the thing.
Oh, God.
The clients were not even looking to buy a house.
Oh.
They were like this really cute couple, and they liked tiny houses, but they were already like renting a place that they weren't going to move out of for a while. And they wanted to make a TV show. Everybody like had all of the pieces, all of the ingredients in the recipe. They just needed one more.
All these people just want airtime. It looks so real to you.
They were just out of, they were out of material. So I didn't realize that till I was already signed on and getting started. But the couple was so sweet, really fun to work with. It was a 2-day project. And we went into these tiny spaces in great neighborhoods. We were in like Fittler Square and Rittenhouse Square, and which usually you think of like really dramatic, beautiful old houses or cool condos. Like we were in these little, like mouse houses that were like tucked into corners and like little, little streets.
Little Trinity houses,
yeah,
with like the
but
3
even
floors in the spiral staircase.
But like even smaller, right? Where like small. Everything's in like one room, and they were for sale. So it was fun and interesting. But yeah, I don't aspire to say yes to any of those opportunities again.
Yeah, you've had your airtime.
I did.
You've been on 2 episodes now.
I did.
You wanted to podcast instead of
That's
TV
right.
now. So.
She just wants to come on Sold by MC from here on.
We'll
That's
see
fine.
how it works out.
That's fine. We'll bring her on anytime.
I can be your Robin to your Howard Stern.
You can. What is the wildest or most unexpected thing that you've experienced in real estate?
I was helping. I can't believe I'm going to tell this story. I have to make it make sense. I was helping a mom I knew through my kids' nursery school buy a house that was part of her divorce settlement.
Oh.
So before the divorce, her husband agreed to buy her a house that would be in her name only. And we were at this house that she had put an offer in on, and it was accepted. So we were under contract on it. And she said, and she was already, this is so weird. She was already dating someone, and he was a contractor. And she said, hey, can we go over to that house? And, this guy I'm dating, I want him to look at the basement to give me an idea of how like we could finish it better, improve it, give me some cost estimates. And I said, sure, of course. So we planned to go over to the house. And then, like the day of, she said, by the way, my husband is going to come over too. He wants to see it since he's buying it. And I was like,
can't wait.
Okay.
This sounds like a reality television show, by the way.
Right. This is
with the boyfriend.
Well, I was like, is it going to be okay? Like, is that, and she's like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And I know the husband, but I don't know anything about their intimate relationship. We're not friends. We're just acquaintances. So I'm very, is trepidatious a word? Is that a word?
Yeah.
Is that appropriate?
Take it.
Yeah.
I have a lot of trepidation about this meeting. However, it's like, how bad could it be? We're all adults. We're going to be in and out of there in half an hour. No big deal. So the time comes, it's in Chestnut Hill, which is great because it's really close to the office. So I only have to leave like 5 minutes ahead of time to the appointment. It's raining out. But I walk, I have my umbrella and stuff. But this house is one of those houses that from the first time we saw it, like it looks staged, but people do live there, but everything is in perfect condition. There's no extra things, on the countertop. Everything is perfectly clean. So we walk in, right? But it's raining. So we're kind of taking off our shoes, and I'm leaving my umbrella outside. And my client's with me and her new boyfriend. So we all go in together and we're kind of walking around and he's admiring, oh, that's such a great place. And she, she's pointing some things out. And then she said, all right, we're going to go to the basement. And I said, all right, I'll stay up here and wait for the husband, just so when he arrives, he's not waiting outside in the rain. So I'm standing in the kitchen. It's like an open concept. And he busts in the front door and he's holding their, I think like 8 or 9 month old baby at the time. Their older child is my son's age and she's in school.
Yeah. So we're adding more on to the situation.
So he walks in and he is like dripping wet and he's holding this baby and he starts, and I go, hey, I don't want to say his name. And I was like, hey, how are you? And he starts pointing, like with both hands, he's holding the baby, but he's like pointing her at me, like, here, hold this.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, where are they? And I'm sure I went white as a sheet, and I take the baby, who immediately starts screaming. And I said to my client, I said, hey, your husband's here. You might want to come upstairs. And so she's like, we'll be right up. So I said to the husband, I said, can you do me a favor? You're dripping wet. I get it. It's raining outside, but can you go and just like take off your shoes by the front? And he looks at me and I feel like he's having, like a lot of emotional, he was having a manic episode. I'm just going to jump right to, no, he was more than that. He was insane. So you could see it in his eyes. And this is a person I know. And
psychosis.
We drop our kids off at school together. It was very strange. So, and I'm holding the baby who's crying. And I said, can you please just take off your shoes and not, bring in all the water? And he goes, oh, sorry. And he goes back to the front door and he takes off his shoes and he takes off his shirt, which is also wet and dripping. So he now,
wait, so there's no white tee underneath?
No.
Okay.
No, there's no white tee.
Clarify for our listeners.
And I remember it so clearly because, he had a very like strong hairy chest. And I was like, this is not appropriate at all. And I don't even know what's going to happen. So by now my client and this other man have come upstairs.
And you're still holding crying baby?
And now that she's there, she's like taking the baby from me. So I'm like just calming down because I don't have to worry about another human being in that moment. And I'm just watching what's happening, and it's almost like in slow-mo. And the husband is approaching the boyfriend, who he obviously knew was going to be there as well. And the boyfriend's like really tall and bigger, like stronger than the husband, who's also like very, like these are like fit people. And he's like, hi. The husband's like, hi, nice to meet you. And he like puts out his hand, and the boyfriend puts out his hand to shake. First meet, shake a hand. And the handshake was like the craziest handshake I've seen. It was like they had a grip, like, like a death grip on each other's hand. And then there was like the grabbing of the back of the arm, like when you're shaking his hand. And the boyfriend he cringes, and he like has to like force his hand out of the handshake because the husband was like not letting go. And he was like, nice to meet you, like staring at his eyes.
Shirtless.
Yeah. So, I mean, so at this point,
paint the picture.
Yeah. So I duck behind. I feel like this is so inappropriate, and I'm so scared that something's going to happen in this house that is not anyone's house yet, that is in this, situation, or somebody might come home, or somebody might hurt each other. Like, it definitely felt like this could turn into like a violent situation. And so I kind of ducked behind the kitchen. Behind a wall was like a little laundry room and a mud room that looked out to the backyard.
Are you still holding the baby, by the way?
No, I've given the baby back, thank goodness, to the mom.
Is the baby still crying?
The baby was not crying when she was with her mom. But what was so weird is my client was so cool, calm, and collected that, well, let me get on with the story, but then I'll say something. So I went behind the wall, and I was just like, I was scared. I was texting somebody. I was thinking that I might want to like call the police, but I didn't want to jump the gun because I didn't really have any give and take with my client other than handing her the baby. And she was keeping her cool so much that I was like, this is going to be okay. If she's not freaking out, raising her voice, to her soon to be ex-husband, maybe she knows something I don't know, and everything's just going to be fine. So I came out, and now there's like a lot of strong, talking happening from the husband, who again, I feel like is having a manic episode. And I can't remember the details. I wish I wrote it down. But at some point, he got down on the floor, and the owners had a dog, and the dog food was out. And he like grabbed the dog food and started like putting it in his mouth. I'm not kidding. I cannot make this up. Yeah, it was insane. And I was like, at that point, I interjected myself.
In what context?
I don't know.
Was he
I wish
angry
I
and like, look what I'm doing?
He was angry. That is
and eating dog food.
Putting it lightly.
Okay.
And so eventually, I got my client's attention, and I said, everybody needs to go right now. This is not okay. We all need to go. And she was like, okay. And then she got a hold of like her husband, and somehow talked him down enough to like walk out. And he walked out, and then everyone else walked out. And I had to go back in later and like clean up, but like I like locked the door so no one else could go back in the house. And he jumps in his car and starts making some crazy like 3-point turns to like, cause he was parked in a strange way. And he like peeled off like he was in some type of action movie. It was the craziest experience I've ever had. And I realized later that day, as I played it over in my head, like, 100 times, that I think that she staged the whole thing. Like, I think she knew how he would react. Why would you have your husband and your new boyfriend like in the same room? And your husband has the capability to act like that. So I felt like she was doing that to have some leverage during the divorce proceedings, or to maybe get more custody of her kids or something.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that made sense to me.
Why else would you put that in the same room? Because that's clearly not the first time he's acted like this.
Let me just be clear. The peel out was shirtless too, correct?
I don't even know.
Everything was.
Yeah, because I think
I want to know how
someone gave him his shirt and he carried it out with him. So I don't think he put it back on before the peel out.
Okay, I just want to clarify that.
A lot of nudity conversation today.
But I just want to say that you never know what your day is going to be like.
You never do.
You never
Every
do.
day is different.
Every day is different.
Every deal is different.
And you're like, if you're in the business long enough, you will have the best dinner party stories ever, because humans are interesting, and buying a house is really, it's an amazing thing to be able to do. But there's always a lot of emotions that go along with it if you're not just an investor buying an investment property, because this is a home. This is a place that you've either, had amazing experiences, or you're imagining having amazing experiences, and that's going to be a part of your life. So it can bring out the best in people. It could bring out the worst in people. And there's always a reason for it, right? So it could be a happy reason, like you got a great new job, or you're, getting married, or you're having a baby, or whatever. But it could also be because someone passed away, someone's getting a divorce, you lost a job. So you have to consider that as an agent. I'll be honest, I don't know how I should have behaved in that situation. And I don't think I did all the right things, because I was in such shock. I'm glad I didn't have to call the police, but that probably should have been my next move. Luckily, nobody... Oh, actually someone did get hurt. The contractor, Michael had broken his thumb when they... That's just a first name.
Oh no.
When they shook hands, he broke his thumb, and then he couldn't work. So I believe that there was some type of,
disability lawsuit too on top of that.
Something after the fact.
Did they still get the house?
Yeah, she still bought.
She got the house and a lot more out of this.
It's so funny because
they all live there together now. Actually,
they bought the house. She lived there.
The police are called every 3 nights.
Yes. All right. I'm not going to say any more names. I want to end the story. But yeah, things like that can happen.
It would be funny if someone had the exact same story, by the way. Like another realtor.
I promise you, the dog food aspect of it makes it one of a kind.
Eating dog food.
Yeah.
Okay, let's skip into some trivia.
Okay.
I'm excited for this. True or false? We'll start easy. Philadelphia has more historic homes than any other U.S. city.
True.
True. What's the most common type of home in Philly? A, detached single family. B, condos. C, row homes.
Row homes.
C, row homes. Yes. And last one, which Philly neighborhood has the most public parks per square mile? A, Rittenhouse Square. B, Fairmount. or C, Society Hill?
Wow. Oh my goodness. Per square mile. How are we defining Fairmount? Public parks. Rittenhouse.
No qualifying the question. Just
I know.
pick
I
one.
can't.
Come on.
You've got to.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I don't want to be wrong. That's the problem.
Apparently.
Is Fittler included in Rittenhouse? I'm going to say Fairmount.
It's Fairmount. Fairmount's like one big park, honestly.
No, they have some pocket parks.
They definitely have their pocket parks, but like art museum, you think about like across from Boathouse Row.
Well,
and like,
some people call everything like north of the Parkway Fairmount. Mm-hmm. But I personally delineate like an art museum area, which is south of Fairmount Avenue, and Fairmount, which is like from Fairmount up to Girard. But anyway, so it's Fairmount?
Yeah, it's Fairmount. Good job.
What do I get? What do I win?
You got 3 out of 3. You just get bragging points. Give her a clap.
I like it.
Do you remember what the button is, Asher?
No, that's it.
There we go. Okay,
This
my
one?
last question.
No, that's it. Okay.
My last question for you.
Yeah.
What TV show are you loving right now?
So I really am loving the show Severance on Apple TV.
We started this last night.
You did?
Crazy.
It's crazy. And it's also like a show you have to give a couple episodes
Definitely.
to. It's really slow. It's really cerebral, but I think the acting is really exciting and phenomenal. And I'm dying to know where it's going. So I've seen the first 2 seasons and now I'm just waiting.
No, it is literally so wild. Yeah, people got to watch that.
I got to say, Apple TV has really cornered the market on my favorite shows in the last couple of years. Ted Lasso, Shrinking. I mean, these are just home runs every time.
And that I watched the morning show on Apple TV.
Yes,
too.
I used
That's
to watch
really
the
good.
morning show.
Yeah,
I
with
did.
Jennifer Aniston in it. Great show.
Was Platonic on Apple TV too? I think so. You should
I
check that
haven't
out.
seen it. I
Seth
should.
Rogen. Very funny.
Oh yeah, I love him.
I have 2 recs for you guys. Asher, are you watching any TV right now?
No.
It's okay.
I'm like addicted to sports, so.
Oh, that's fine.
If you want something really dark and sinister, I also just watched the documentary on Netflix. What was her name? She drowned her kids in the bathtub.
Ugh. Oh boy. Okay.
What was her name? Terry something? I can't remember. But I people
I like true crime, so yeah,
that's true crime.
think on that and let me
Kind
know.
of. It was a really sad story.
Terry?
No, what is her name?
Terry drowning. Oh, it's in bathtub.
Andrea Yates. That's her name. Andrea
Okay.
Yates.
Andrea Yates. Okay.
True story.
I have 2. One is like real estate. I think Owning Manhattan is so good. Have you seen it?
I don't watch real estate shows.
Okay. You should. And well,
They're fun. You get to see
they're
some
fun.
cool real estate.
I'd say Selling Sunset is more drama. You don't get as much of the real estate aspect. And what I like about what Ryan Serhant is like the broker owner guy, and he pretty much produces it all. But he gives a lot of background and like real stories of like when he started real estate, and like there's just a lot of really good advice, but still kind of the drama aspect, but it's not so swallowed up with drama that you're taking away from the real estate aspect.
Okay.
So that show is really good. I love it. My other show,
What do you watch it on? What platform?
that one is on Netflix.
Okay.
And then the next one's on Peacock. Have you heard of My Strange Addiction?
Yes. I haven't seen it, but I've heard of
You
it.
guys.
This is like with the people that like eat soap, right?
Soap. There's one lady that like literally will take gasoline and like put it, she calls them gasoline sandwiches, and she dips it in gasoline, like dips newspaper in gasoline, and will like put it on her tongue for like, I think like 30 seconds.
How is she
'cause
alive?
She likes the way it. This is what I wonder, because all these
Sounds
people.
terrible. Sounds disgusting.
Another lady like is addicted to.
What's your strange addiction?
What is my strange addiction? Wait, that's such a good question. What's yours?
Lately I've been really consistent with, I'm trying beef tallow. I'm putting it under my eyes right before I go to bed. Mm-hmm. It's like one of those things that
So-
tells you to like, you know, will
These
help
are
with wrinkles.
healthy addictions. These are like things for our health. These people just like want like liver disease. I don't know.
They want liver disease. They're going for it.
Like another lady is addicted to eating dryer sheets. Another lady is addicted to like eating toilet paper.
Why does it have to be something about eating something? Like, why can't this strange addiction be like...
It's all ladies, by the way.
That's okay, because serial killers are all white men.
It's fine. This is a trend I've picked up from the show is like there are men in the show that are addicted, but they're like living their life solo, where this is just something I've picked up. And then there are friends, and one lady is addicted to taxidermy. She finds dead animals and like invites her friends over for parties.
These are like people that have like toenail collections.
Literally. Another lady eats dirt. But a lot of them are women, and a lot of them have like a fiance that's like sticking around watching this. And I just find it interesting. I'm like, the men stay.
Oh, well, I have to say, so I have a little bit of, I love like shows about hoarders.
Oh, yes.
Like hoarding buried alive. We used to watch
Hoarders when I was like with my dad growing up.
And that has, I think, strange addictions, and it's addictions to stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of strange things that you find in those hoards. I mean, I feel terrible for these people. There's definitely like a lot more going on besides, you know.
It's like a coping mechanism. No matter what your strange addiction is, like that's how you deal with life.
You're right.
Or like hiding from, because that's like a lot of these people will go meet with like a doctor, which I think is wild. Most of them, one guy ate glass and like went to the doctor and he's like, you're totally fine, but also like stop doing this. This is what could happen. Like, but like a lot of them go and see a therapist and uncover that like this has been a coping mechanism. Like the dryer sheet lady, she's like, yeah, my mom used to do it, so I just picked up like she's like, now I see my kids starting to pick them up and try them.
Wow.
Like
dryer sheets are really bad for the environment. They don't biodegrade. So maybe,
can you imagine what goes in your body?
Right. But maybe that's like a good way of getting rid of dryer sheets, right?
Yeah.
It'll help them decompose.
She's actually doing it for the environment.
Yeah. Well, I respect
She's a warrior.
That. Yeah.
She's a warrior. The things we do to save the planet. Well, Rachel, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
A longer episode for Sold by MC, but I hope our listeners found some hilarious moments in our episode because there were plenty.
Yeah.
Glad to be of service. I'll come back anytime.
Come back. As always, thanks for tuning in to Sold by MC. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. If you have any questions, guest ideas, or need help with your home search here in Philly, you can always reach me at maryclaire@ewrhomes.com. See you next time.